He's Jay Bilas from the worldwide leader in sports back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Jay?
I'm doing great, Rich. How are you?
Well, what do you take out of all this? Just give me the overview first. What do you take out of this, Jay?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, this is as bizarre a situation as you're going to find. Not that there's, sort of the idea that there's cheating in college athletics. Of course there is, and that there's an ungodly amount of money. And with the players, the most valuable commodity in the game, unpaid, that there's going to be, if you want to call it corruption, there's going to be breaking of these amateurism rules. But just the idea that the federal government became involved, and we were talking about wiretaps and confidential informants. So the people involved in this are basically dead to rights here, and there's no disputing what happened, as you would see sometimes in a normal NCAA investigation.
Well, and in terms of that, you know that the people who are initially arrested in something like this involving the feds are not the ones that they're trying to go after. They're the ones that they were easy to get and the ones that you can squeeze to get bigger fish. What do you think other programs and coaches across the country are thinking right now, Jay?
Well, it depends. I mean, the ones who haven't done anything are thinking, well, it's about time, and everybody's got to pay the piper. And the ones who have been skirting close to the line are wondering if they're going to get ensnared in this thing. And I don't, look, I understand the way the business works. I know that players are being paid forever. I mean, Rich, you know this. The NCAA was founded in 1905 or so, and it was founded in scandal, and it's operated in scandal ever since. You're not going to put a bunch of amateurism rules in that are going to limit only one aspect of the game, that being the players, essentially labor, and expect that you're going to make billions of dollars and everything's going to be okay and nobody's going to violate the rules. Of course they are. And so that's sort of where the rub is in this thing. And players have been paid forever under the table. It's just they're paid in different ways. And so this scandal may change the way that money flows to the players. But I think it's laughable and naive to think that in this multi-billion-dollar industry that even as unpleasant as this is to go through, that this is going to stop the flow of money. It may change the direction in which it flows. I mean, you remember that movie Jurassic Park when Jeff Goldblum said, life will find a way. Well, in NCAA sports, money will find a way. And you never see these scandals in Division II and Division III because the revenues and the expenditures and the salaries are in line with the stated mission of the institutions. In Division I, they are not in line. Like you get guys making $7, $8, $9 million a year, and Louisville has a $160 million contract with Adidas, which pales in comparison to what they're making from the ACC media deal and what they make from the NCAA, what all these teams make from the NCAA tournament, college football, and all that stuff. So we haven't seen the last of these scandals. This is just the latest one.
Well, the question is, I have Jay Bilas in the Honda Insider Report, is why isn't there enough of a push from the institutional level, from school presidents who, for the grace of God, they can go with the interim president right now of Louisville who's got this you-know-what sandwich now sitting on his desk. Why wouldn't they basically – because and he had one of the all-time great winning college basketball coaches at his disposal. Why won't these guys take some of the money, and ladies who are in charge of these institutions, take some of the money and create a police force with teeth that in real time can monitor these situations instead of what they currently have, Jay?
Because it's not going to stop it. It doesn't matter what you do. You can have a police force or integrity monitors do whatever you want. People are still going to find a way. I mean, these players are valuable commodities, and people are going to find a way to get them because the only way to win is to get players. And you can talk coaches all you want, but no great coach wins without great players. You can lose with them, but you cannot win without them, and everybody knows that. So that's the valuable commodity, and they're going to go out and get them. And in a system where it is a cartel system where there's a unilaterally imposed wage scale on the players, and everybody can only offer a scholarship and a stipend, then of course you're going to offer more to get somebody. You don't hear these kind of bribery scandals and other type of scandals with coaches because you can just offer them a contract. And it should be the same with players. I mean, and then it would get everything above board. And, we wouldn't have this underground economy. And there's really no reason for this. To me, Rich, if they're old enough to sell for billions of dollars, they're old enough to make money. And we know exactly who to recruit. We know exactly who to play in minutes in the games. We know exactly who the All-Americans are. We know who to pay, and all these schools know exactly who to pay. They just don't want to do it. They want to keep all the money for themselves, and that's fine. Go ahead, but you're going to continue to have these scandals, and to think that you're not is painfully naive to the point of laughable.
So then, what's the fix? Because I think everybody looks at this and says it's disgusting. It makes you want to shower, and nobody really wants to think about this sort of stuff and see it. Everybody just wants to obviously turn on March Madness and enjoy it. But that's it. So what is the fix to this whole thing, Jay? If you could wave a wand and fix the whole thing.
Well, the fix is either start acting like you talk and make this like Division II or Division III, and or act like the Masters does, and don't have make this a commercial enterprise. Don't sign multi-billion-dollar contracts with television networks. Have your games at decent times. Don't travel your players all over the world and all over the country just to use them to make money. Don't pay your coaches millions upon millions of dollars to do this. Act like they do in Division II and Division III, and keep your salaries and expenditures and revenues in line with your mission. Or if you're gonna continue this multi-billion-dollar industry, and in my experience, Rich, and yours too, I'm sure, multi-billion-dollar industries don't just fold up and go away. They're going to keep doing this. If you're going to keep doing this, pay your players. There's nothing wrong, and there's nothing wrong with students being paid, because every other student is allowed to be paid. Every other student is allowed to make money based upon their name, likeness, their talent level. If you're a music student on scholarship, you can make however much money you want and still be enrolled in school and a student in good standing. If you're on a scholarship as an English student, you can write a book, you can write a screenplay, you can make as much money as you want. If you're on scholarship in theater, you can do movies, you can make as much money as you want, and you're celebrated for that. So why would we restrict college athletes, the only ones that are bringing in the money, and then when something happens that we know is inevitable, we want to make it seem like everybody's a criminal when they're not. They're just trying to do business in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Look, I don't condone breaking the rules. I certainly don't condone breaking the law. The rules didn't make anyone break them. I'm not suggesting that. But the rules did create this underground economy. So we can't be naive and then somehow say, how did this happen? This has been happening forever, and it's going to keep happening. We can't just put a new rule in and all of a sudden it's going to stop. I hate to go back to this, life will find a way, but the money will find a way. We thought Wall Street, we thought we could stop, we could change Wall Street after the meltdown in 2008. How'd that go? We're not going to stop the flow of money there either. And we can regulate this if we allow the players to participate in it to the extent of their fair market value.
A couple more minutes with Jay Bilas in the Honda Insider Report. Jay Bilas from ESPN here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tom Crean's name is being batted around as being interim head coach for Louisville once the inevitable comes and that Pitino is officially let go. Do you think he'd be interested in something like that, Jay?
I'm sure he would listen. I mean, Tom's an outstanding coach. He did a great job at Marquette, and he was assistant to Tom Izzo at Michigan State and helped build that program up into a national power. And then I thought did a very good job at Indiana before it ran out of gas at the end there. But I think he would be a great call. Louisville's in a tough spot right now. The question is, do they want to get somebody on an interim basis, or do they want to get somebody that they can keep full time? Tom's a full time solution. You bring him in. He'll continue that place. I mean, they're going to take a step back because of what they got going on. But I think Tom Crean would be terrific.
Right. I mean, he would be. But, I mean, why would it? My 2 cents is, why would he want to do that? I mean, who knows what the heck's going to happen with Louisville's basketball program or even the whole darn shooting match. Pat Forty of Yahoo thinks they should get the death penalty. Jay?
They're not going to do that. I mean, I hear Pat. I respect Pat greatly. He's a great friend and a great writer. But they're not going to do that. I mean, that was a tool they used against SMU. I think they found that it was a clear option that wasn't good for anybody. And now that they're cleaning house and cleaning out everybody, I don't have any doubt that Louisville can pick up the pieces. There's great bones there, and it's been a great program. I think it'll be a great program again. But I don't believe that. Who knows? We can all be proven wrong in this thing, because who's ever predicted what the NCAA is going to do? But I would not anticipate the death penalty coming their way.
All right, so last one for you, Jay. Crystal ball it for me. What do you think ends up happening over the next weeks, months, if not years, to college basketball in this country based on this?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. It'll continue business as usual. You don't have multi-billion-dollar businesses fold up over stuff like this. We've had cheating scandals before. We've had gambling scandals. It seemed like the world was going to end every time that happened, and there wasn't any change. We may have some issues that are, some regulation that comes in with regard to how the money flows, but it's still going to flow. And it's still, they're not going to cancel $160 million contracts, and they're not going to cancel television contracts. They're going to play the games, and all the money's going to keep flowing in, and everybody's going to keep making it. They got a bunch of contracts here they got to honor. And so we're not going to see any change. We're just going to hear a lot of high-minded rhetoric, and then we'll go back to business as usual.
So depressing, Jay. I think I'm going to go watch Jurassic Park and just roll up into a ball. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do.
Well, I mean, I don't think it is depressing. I think this is a great game. Most people do the right thing, but we got a phony system, Rich. I mean, we can't sit here and pretend like this is amateur golf or the Little League World Series. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and the players are worth a ton of money. And we think agents and quote-unquote third parties aren't going to try to get a piece of these guys. Of course they are. And the schools say they're trying to protect them from commercial exploitation when all they're doing is commercially exploiting them. When you make money off of someone while at the same time limiting that person from making money, you exploit them. You exploit them by definition. The players aren't mistreated, but they are exploited, and any reasonable economist would agree with that.
All right, before I let you go, ask him the poll question, Brockman. Go for it.
All right, Jay, what is Rick Pitino's legacy? Champion, disgrace, or both?
What do you think, Jay?
It'll be both. I mean, he's being fired in disgrace. I think his personal indiscretion that he had 7 or 8 years ago, and then the escort scandal on top of this is going to be too much for anyone's reputation to overcome. That'll be right along with champion, because he's one of the greatest coaches to ever live. But he won't outlive. Sadly, will not outlive the reputation that he's taking on this.
Jay, you're awesome, man. You're the perfect guest, and you're terrific at it, and you're terrific at everything you do. Really appreciate you calling in, Jay. Always.
Well, great to be with you, Rich, as always.
You got it. You got it. That's at Jay Bilas on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, download our app. Please, just if it's a memory thing, just delete other apps. You don't need those apps. This app, the Rich Eisen Show app, you need that.